bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX had around $1.4 billion in cash as of the end of 2022, according to an interim financial update filed on Wednesday. That's an upgrade from what CEO John J. Ray said at the end of last year. Joining us now to discuss is Hodder Law Firm founder and managing partner Sasha Hodder. Sasha, good morning. Does this number mean that there will be more money for creditors, and how did that happen?
Oh, good morning. Yeah, it is. I mean, they're recovering more assets every week, it seems, but really they've got 101 different entities. So they're just sorting out the various amounts that should be in each of the entities' bank accounts. So it's a lot of internal transfers going on. Alameda's bank account received almost double, like it now has 800 million, where before it had 446 million. But it's not new money coming in, it's just transfers between their internal accounts. But there is a chance they have quite a bit in crypto, 3.5 billion. So while the cash balances likely are just going to go down over time unless they recover certain assets, there's a chance the crypto could, continue to increase in value. And they also have quite a bit with Grayscale, Bitwise, and a lot of real estate that they're trying to unwind, and nearly $5 billion worth of venture assets that they've just hired Perella and Partners to unwind.
So do we have an update on what the hole is for FTX? And, this is good news for creditors if crypto goes up and, that hole lessens.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the last report was that creditors were owed $8 billion. So with 5.5 billion in liquid assets, there's, about $2.5 billion of a hole.
Yeah, so a little bit on that, I'm seeing here that so we have 5 billion in liquid assets, and when you say liquid assets, I mean, do we know exactly where they're located? You mentioned 101 entities. It's kind of confusing, like where exactly those assets are. I mean, in one place?
They're not in one place. They did disclose it in the interim examiner's report. They have a big spreadsheet that just shows different bank accounts for each of these entities, different cold storage wallets that they're in. It's spread across thousands of different places right now. It's not centralized at all. Mm-hmm.
So a New York judge also has prohibited Sam Bankman-Fried from attempting to contact any former or current employees of Alameda Research or FTX. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so SBF sent an email to General Counsel Rain Miller asking if he could collaborate with him. The email, just said, I want to go over our recollections. It seems like he wanted to kind of get his facts straight and see, if they're on the same page or not. But that the judge looked at it like it could be witness tampering, and he was told to stop using Signal to contact any former employees. But his attorney, Sam Cohen, filed a motion objecting to that, saying he needs to talk to his therapist, who's a former employee. His friends are all former employees, and he needs those people for support right now. And in the same motion, they had the nerve to ask, to bar him from, or to give him access to some of the FTX assets so he could help with transferring funds, which I just thought was incredible that they would, even think to put something like that into a motion. So witness tampering, it usually involves some kind of threat. It's like if you're blackmailing someone, you're threatening physical harm. It's like what the mob bosses used to do before people would go on the juries. They'd say, hey, you show up there, you're dead, or something like that. So I don't think this email to his former lawyer really rises to the standard of actual witness tampering, but it is, it's just not done that he shouldn't be contacting these people anymore.
Yeah, so there's this whole issue of the examiner. So now, can you go into a little detail of what's going to go on here, why they need who's asking for it, and what is the role of the examiner?
Sure. So yeah, on February 6th, we'll have the next hearing that determines whether or not the examiner will come into place. And an examiner is someone appointed by the Department of Justice to just unpack everything with all of the different assets, see it, looking for fraud, looking for mismanagement. So here, where we've had such significant allegations of mismanagement, he's already been charged criminally. I would be absolutely shocked if no examiner ends up getting appointed, but it has been a contested motion. You know, FTX attorneys are saying, oh no, we don't need an examiner in here, and then the court and the UCC committee is saying that they do want an examiner. And actually almost every state, or at least, you know, several states, Texas, Florida, Arkansas, Alaska, a lot of states have come together in a joinder motion saying we absolutely want an examiner in here. And you know, if we can look to the examiner report put out by Celsius earlier this week, it was 476 pages, and you know, basically called it a Ponzi scheme. So I think, you know, the examiner added a ton of value in the Celsius case, and it just gives everyone some confidence. I mean, there's
So your guess is that
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but just one quick point on that. There's been allegations that Sullivan and Cromwell are not going to explore this as thoroughly as they would have, you know, in, say, the Enron case, because Sullivan and Cromwell were the attorneys advising in this situation. So where there's already been this allegation of, you know, not fully aligned interests here, I think the examiner is someone that's a neutral party that would come in and just kind of explore everything.
And it's most likely to happen.
Just to kind of one detail you mentioned that I find kind of intriguing, this whole Signal thing, like he's not supposed to use Signal. Like, what is that? Is that even enforceable? Like, that seems like a really strange provision. I'm just curious what that's about.
Yeah, I was wondering, I mean, that's the application that he's been using to contact people. He emailed Rain Miller, so he contacted him both on Signal and on email. But I was thinking the exact same thing. How are they going to know if he's using Signal? You can delete the messages right away. So I don't know why they wouldn't just say, hey, you know, get off the internet. You know, that's what Ross Ulbright, for example, hasn't had access to the internet for 10 years. And, you know, Sam Bankman-Fried, he complained that the 6 days in prison in the Bahamas, that was the hardest thing about it, was no internet. But, you know, here he is blogging and contacting people, and, you know, it's just very light bail conditions, that's for sure.
So Sasha, what's on your radar on what's next in the FTX case?
I think it'll be interesting to see how the venture deals unwind. I know they have stocks in almost every single crypto company, or, you know, some kind of equity asset. So who's going to come in and buy them? What prices are they going to go for? There's you know, hundreds of companies that are going to be impacted by this. So you know, the PWP that came in, they're charging $450,000 a month flat fee and a commission of 2% for all assets sold. So it's going to be, I think they said it's the biggest case they've ever seen for an investment banking and unwinding a bankruptcy like this. So and the real estate is all up for sale, and there's nearly $300 million worth of real estate assets in the Bahamas. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of prices they can get for those.
I'm looking for a discount on a vacation home, so I think this might work.
You know, there's some of those properties, goodness, I was looking through the real estate listings, and it's really the lap of luxury.
Wow. Sasha, thanks so much for joining us. All right, that was Hodder Law Firm founder and managing partner, Sasha Hodder.